Black CEO kicked from VIP seat for white passenger minutes later, entire crew fired. The airport lounge was a sanctuary of privilege, but for Marcus Tate, it became a battlefield. A black CEO, his name etched on Forbes lists, now stood humiliated, his dignity under siege. Marcus adjusted his tie, the weight of his tailored suit no shield against the flight attendant's icy demand. "Sir, you need to vacate this seat," she said, her voice sharp, eyes avoiding his. The VIP lounge, with its polished marble and hushed exclusivity, fell silent. Every head turned. Marcus, mid-sip of his coffee, froze. "Excuse me," he asked, his tone calm but edged with steel. "This seat is reserved," the attendant insisted, gesturing to a white man in a rumpled suit, smirking as he approached. The man's entitlement radiated, his presence a silent claim to superiority. Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd earned this seat first-class ticket, years of grinding to build his tech empire, countless nights proving his worth in a world quick to dismiss him. Yet here he was, reduced to a stereotype in seconds. "I paid for this seat," Marcus said, his voice low, deliberate. The attendant's face hardened, her hand already signaling security. The lounge's onlookers shifted, some with sympathy, others with discomfort, but none spoke up. The white passenger slid into Marcus's seat, his smirk widening. "Rules are rules," he said, shrugging, as if Marcus's existence was a minor inconvenience. The air thickened with tension, a storm brewing in Marcus's chest. He stood, towering over the scene, his presence commanding despite the indignity. "This isn't about rules," he said, loud enough for the room to hear. "This is about who you think belongs." The attendant flinched, but her resolve didn't waver. Security arrived, two burly men with clipped voices, urging Marcus to step aside. The lounge was now a stage, and Marcus was cast as the villain in a script he hadn't written. But Marcus Tate wasn't just was a man who'd clawed his way up from nothing, who'd faced worse slights, and emerged unbroken. He pulled out his phone, his fingers steady despite the rage pulsing through him. "You're making a mistake," he said, his voice a quiet thunder. He dialed his legal team, then his PR firm. The attendant scoffed, but the room's energy shifted. Whispers grew louder. Phones emerged, recording the scene. Minutes later, the airline's regional manager burst into the lounge, his face pale. Marcus's call had reached the top. His company was a major client, his influence undeniable. The manager's eyes darted between Marcus and the attendant, who now stood frozen, her authority crumbling. "Mr. Tate, I'm so sorry," the manager stammered. "This is unacceptable." Marcus didn't blink. "Unacceptable doesn't cut it," he said. "Your crew profiled me. They humiliated me. And they did it because of the color of my skin." The words hung heavy, a truth too raw to ignore. The white passenger shifted uncomfortably, his smirk gone. The lounge was a pressure cooker now, every onlooker a witness to a reckoning. The manager fumbled, promising investigations, apologies, anything to defuse the situation. But Marcus wasn't here for platitudes. "I want accountability," he demanded. "Not just for me, but for everyone who's been dismissed, disrespected, or displaced because of who they are." The manager nodded, sweat beading on his brow, but Marcus wasn't done. He turned to the crowd, his voice rising. "Silence is complicity. You saw this. You know what's right. Speak up." The room erupted. A woman stood, her voice shaking but firm, recounting a similar incident she'd faced. A man followed, admitting he'd stayed quiet too long. The lounge, once a bubble of privilege, became a forum for truth. Phones kept recording, the story spreading like wildfire across social media. Hashtags surged, "Justice for Marcus," and racial profiling. Within the hour, the airline issued a public statement. The entire crew, attendant, security, even the gate manager was fired. The white passenger was escorted out, his protests drowned by the crowd's murmurs. But Marcus didn't feel triumph. He felt the weight of every slight, every microaggression, every moment he'd been forced to prove his worth. As he boarded his flight, now upgraded to a private suite, Marcus looked out at the tarmac. The world was watching, but change wasn't a viral post or a corporate apology. It was a fight, daily, relentless. He thought of his daughter, growing up in a world that would judge her before knowing her. For her, he'd keep fighting, not just for a seat, but for a future where worth wasn't measured by skin. The plane took off, and Marcus closed his eyes, not in defeat, but in resolve. The lounge incident wasn't the end, it was a spark. A spark for justice, for dignity, for a world that saw him, and others like him, as they truly were, undeniable. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.